As you know, this is the second session that we're having together. We had the first onboarding meeting, and now we're very happy with this meeting. The main goals here today is to, first of all, report on the main updates that we're having since our last meeting. All of the discussions, of course, were very inspiring to us, and we're trying to do our best to engage with your insights. And so I'll be reporting a bit on the work that we have been doing internally. We're also very happy today that you meet the frontrunner Citizen Observatories that were part of this, the CitiObs project since the start. So at CitiObs, we have our contact points that are bridging our work with the CEO. So today, the contact points are here. And so that's going to be very exciting as well to get you to know them. And we'll be also focusing on some of the technical tools. I think from the last meetings and the interactions we had with you, we can say that this is a very important part of the project. So today we'll be diving a bit more in detail into the technical opportunities that we have to work together. So just quickly on the agenda, I'll be talking a bit about the clustering. So as I explained to you last time, we're going to be working throughout this project in groups that we call clusters. So I'll talk more about this. We're going to have the presentations from the frontrunner contact points. We're going to have an activity together. I'll explain all of this, so don't worry. And we're going to focus on these presentations about our tools, our toolkits. We talk about sensors, technical tools for communities, data flow, and of course, open discussion. We can have Q&A and talk about the next steps together. Okay, so let me start with the overview of the clusters. So as you know, we're 30 alliance cases. So that means that we need to work in groups. We're trying to find commonalities. We're trying to work the best setup for us to work together. Okay, so what we have been doing is trying to come up with groups that make sense. So since the application process, we're trying to, of course, understand the general profile of each one of you. We also sent you a self-assessment form that all of you sent back with more information about your main needs. So we're trying to identify common needs that you have. And in the first meeting, I think all of you remember we had activities together where we're trying to find common challenges and common interests. So this whole process is informing us on how to group you into clusters. And today we're going to keep this discussion going. We're going to advance the discussion, start to getting you to talk to other colleagues that are in the same cluster as you. And we're going to really explore the potential for peer learning. So most of you have lots to learn. I mean, all of you have lots of learn from each other, from the challenges, from the experience, the expertise you have. And also, we're going to be talking about cross-cluster opportunities. I really want to make this clear. You're not trapped inside of your cluster and you cannot interact with each other. This is not true. You can have you can come to other cluster activities. We can think about cross-cluster opportunities. So we're thinking about all of this to make these clusters also create dialogues among them, okay? So let me just quickly go through some of the reporting from the last activity. So in the first onboarding meeting, we did this activity together. I don't know if you remember using the Miro board, you could choose your emojis, but the best part was that we could talk about the main thematic focus that we have, the common challenges, and so forth. We had open discussions inside of the groups. And here are some of the very overview, broad things that we found out in the group discussions. So those were not clusters yet, those were more random groups, but here we could find something. So we had groups, for example, saying that they want to make data more accessible, accurate, and shareable while ensuring strong community engagement. And they're interested in learning from others, building networks for collaboration, and strengthening citizen science impact on policy and decision-making. We had more groups talking about sustaining long-term citizen participation, while also talking about data quality, funding, and policy recognition. And they're interested in learning from other projects, improving data visualization, fostering collaboration across citizen observatories. So as you can see, we have these trends inside of each one of the groups. So we had lots of groups talking about many challenges and interests. And again, you can see funding limitations, policy engagement barriers, interests related to best practices, policy engagement, and access to tools. So we can see some trends, common challenges, and common interests from all of the groups. So some of these common challenges are ensuring data quality and accessibility, sustaining citizen engagement, and improving technical methodologies. So those were challenges that came across, like that popped up in all of the discussions that we had. And also for the interests, we heard a lot of you talking about, I think most of you are very interested in peer learning, building a network, and accessing better tools. So, I mean, we're very happy with this result because we think that we have a lot to work together on this aspect. So I just wanted to say again that all of these discussions, they inform the way that we're working and we're moving forward at CitiObs. So now going back to the clusters. As I said, we'll be working in 5 different clusters. We're 30, so in each one of the clusters, we have 6 projects. And another interesting thing is that we have 5 front-runner CEOs that we're already working with since the start of CitiObs. So we have Athens, Barcelona, Dublin, Christiansand, and Rotterdam. And what we're doing is a twinning process. So basically, we're connecting each one of the front-runner cases with a cluster that shares also challenges that we think they can learn from, and we can work together. So we're going to be connecting your clusters with these front-runner cases as well. So hopefully that's another opportunity to learn more from projects that are implementing the CitiObs tools from the start of this process, okay? So this is the twinning part. Now think about the cluster again. So in each one of the clusters, what we really want to understand from the cluster is your main priorities. So we want to understand, based on everything that you share, the common challenges, what your interests, how you want to move forward. We want to understand your priorities so we can create a work plan for each one of the clusters. Okay, and also we can have alternative topics that also will be informing your priorities. So this is a discussion that we will have as clusters. We will send you more information after the meeting because we want to do this asynchronously. So the colleagues that cannot attend today because this was not a good time slot for them can also have their voices heard. So all of this will be done in a process. And so hopefully we can come up with this work plan for each one of the clusters. So when we do this, we can plan the activities for example, for cluster 1, we can understand their priorities and think, okay, we have these activities, these training sessions, maybe the in-person study visits with a specific focus on a thematic area that is important for cluster 1. And we do the same for all the 5 clusters. And again, all of this will generate cross-cluster activities and opportunities. So don't feel trapped into the work plan of your cluster. We'll also be working as a network, as a group. We'll have lots of opportunities to engage with other cluster activities, okay? So I just wanted to quickly go through this cluster presentation just so we are on the same page of how we'll be working together. And now it's time for you to meet the front runner cases. So again, CitiObs started working with 5 cities, with 5 citizen observatories in 5 different cities in Europe. And we have our contact points here that work with them a lot. Right now, we're trying, as you know, CitiObs is here to try to enhance and give support to CEOs so we can see a bit of their experience on the ground with these observatories. So enough of me speaking. Let me call to the floor our contact point from Athens for her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Joao. Hello, everyone. My name is Georgia Smadi. I am from Greece, and I work in a company called Draxis Environmental. Draxis is part of the CitiObs consortium and has 25 years of experience in environmental technologies. So one of the roles of Draxis in the project is that we act as the contact point for the city of Athens. So today I would like to present to you how our journey in Athens started. And we can go to the next slide. So we started communications with several initiatives and citizen observatories during the latter half of 2023. And on January 2024, we organized the first mutual learning workshop. This was a face-to-face event And the goal was to get a clearer picture of the situation in Athens, understanding what the different citizen observatories are active, and what are they working on, what challenges they are facing. So we had attendees from three citizen observatories, and we really dived into the discussions and engagement. And you saw some pictures of us working together and discussing and different experiences. So here in this slide you can see all the different materials that we ended up with. It was a very enlightening meeting, and we really understood more about the situation and the activities. So through this workshop we decided to move forward in our collaboration with one citizen observatory whose representative we met in the workshop. The name of the CO is Urban Heatwatch, Urban Green and Climate Resilience Observatory. They are working on urban green and vulnerability analysis as well as a heat mapping campaign, which is participatory. So they are dedicated to building a vital knowledge hub on urban green spaces, urban heat and climate resilience, and they focus a lot on heat waves, temperature and humidity. Their mission is to design collaborative strategies, projects and policies that strengthen urban green infrastructure. So they are working both with innovative technologies as well as with participatory practices, and they want to map, first of all, the feeling of discomfort in the heat wave. As you can understand, in Greece, in Athens, during summer, the temperatures can get really high, and we may experience severe heat waves. And also the exposure of vulnerable populations to the urban heat island phenomenon. They're working on disadvantaged neighborhoods, and they also want to map the inequalities of the different neighborhoods towards heat. So in the next slide, the CEO is led, one more, click. Sorry, yes, is led by the Agricultural University of Athens, and also the region of Attica has a strong partnership. And some of the highlights is that they are doing a lot of participatory citizen science initiatives. They are conducting community-led campaigns to map and measure urban heat impact. They're doing a very important campaign every summer. They're also using advanced mapping techniques, drones, and satellite imagery. They're also working with exploring the urban ecosystem services, investigating the benefits of green spaces, and of course, it's very important for them the co-production of climate adaptation measures. So after this first introduction, we met them and we conducted several other meetings with them, a needs assessment workshop, as we call it, where we prioritized some of the things that we had discussed. And in 2024, the CitiObs project entered the mentoring session part. So we have the opportunity to collaborate with the Citizen Observatory in this aspect and organize mentoring sessions. So that's all from my side. I will be very happy to meet the cluster and of course all of you.
Thank you so much, Georgia. Yeah, you don't worry, you'll be hearing much more from her in this project. So now maybe let's keep going with Barcelona.
Yes, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Georgia, for your presentation. So my name is Milena Juarez. I am representing here the CitiObs contact point that we have at Barcelona. So I work for Fab Lab Barcelona, which is a leading research innovation center within the Fab Lab network. And we are based at IAC, which is the Institute for Advanced Architecture in Catalonia. So brief just introduction about the organization. So we work with different strategic lines, and one of them is on developing environmental data tools, empowering communities to engage with real problems through technology and participatory dynamics. And in CitiObs, we are collaborating with the Citizen Observatory, which is called Lab CSU, the Laboratory of Citizen Science and Urban Sustainability here in Barcelona, which is led by main two organizations, which are Lithium Social Innovation and IS Global. Can go to the next slide. So this is the Citizen Observatory that you we also hear more in the next phases in CitiObs, since we are still collaborating with them for the next stages. And the focus of this Citizen Observatory, even though I will tell you a bit more of the story that we developed in the first part of the project, more focused on noise pollution, but they are their main topic is about urban health and air quality in general. So they have been working with different types of stakeholders, including citizens, academia, and municipality. And they have now more or less 4 projects that are ongoing, understanding the effects of environmental urban factors and how we can bring citizens also to create solutions for these issues. So these are just a bit of information of how some of sensors that and technologies that the Citizen Observatory, the Lab CSU is using. Of your special attention for smart citizen. That's something that you hear more in the presentation. And other dynamics they also use for bringing the knowledge from citizens in the context of the projects. So you can go to the next slide. I would just tell you a bit about this first stage that we have been developing actions with Lab CSU. So we had a specific challenge that we have been working together in a square here in Barcelona, which is called Plaza La Virreina. And the key, let's say, statement or the problem that we have been addressing with the organization, with the Citizen Observatory, is how we can still preserve the social and cultural atmosphere of this plaza, of this square that is super active, but at the same time reducing the noise disturbance for the residents and ensuring this like a better and healthier urban environment. So noise pollution has been like a very intense problematic in this square. So there are also specific challenges we have been addressing in terms of course, the high level of noise pollution from the social gatherings that people normally go to the square also to have to exchange and go to bars, and there are also a bit of conflicting needs between of course the owners of the bars, but also like how we can collaborate with them in to keep the noise a bit lower for the neighbors to have like a better nights for sleep, let's say. And also, of course, there are lots of effective noise regulation to enforce the time that the noise should be controlled. And with this first analysis of the project there, we also mapped that there were a bit limited citizen engagement for making this reducing the noise in the plaza. You can go to the next slide. I'm going to go very quicker now. So we went through different steps towards the solution that we did with the Citizen Observatory in terms of collecting data for understanding the noise level patterns, and also another type of data analysis on understanding, let's say, the noise perception from the citizens and for the neighbors around the plaza. And then after these 2 data collections, there were launched 2 open calls for inviting citizens and the community to bring ideas to reduce the noise pollution, and also to invite creative talents. And this was done through the distributed design platform for bringing new ideas and to, let's say, solve or create solutions for the issue. Next slide. Then through a series of co-creation and participatory workshops, the participants that were composed by neighbors, professionals, also participants in the Citizen Observatory, they were guided by different experts. And as I said, the creative sector was also it was part of the methodology that we proposed through CitiObs. And then they developed a series of activities collecting testimony from different neighbors in the plaza. They created kind of a display for kind of translating the noise into like more visuals. So there were a device implemented in the plaza for creating kind of a awareness in regarding to the topic. They also created a very interesting and creative solution that was developing a chatbot to interact with people in this plaza. So it was inspired by the Root, which is the monument in the square. So this is also for protecting the confidence of the neighbors. And then there were a series of communication campaigns that were developed by the citizens to address the challenge. And then here just a few images that you can see. You can go to the next slide, João. I'm finishing already. So here, yeah, the chatbot, how it was, people could interact and ask questions to this bot that was represented by the monument. And also was a really interesting result and idea for bringing people to participate in the campaign without being too confrontational, but actually bringing people to, be like more friendly in a way that we were approaching the noise pollution. And I think I might have like 2 other slides with only pictures just to, yeah. It's a very interesting phrase. It says that, yeah, there's like a lady without age is a neighbor in the plaza, and she wants to sleep deeply, and she, is having issues with it. So asking the person to contact her to hear more stories. So through the chatbot, they could interact with the stories and have like more ideas of awareness raising in terms of noise pollution. That's it for our presentation. I hope that we can clarify and make other connections during the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Milena. As always, very interesting work being done in Barcelona. So now let me call Dublin's contact points to the floor.
Hello, Joao. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm the contact point for Dublin. We are based in the University College Dublin, the UCD. That in the lab, the spatial dynamic lab, the main research is related to environmental issues and applying sensors and citizens and local authorities, working with them together with the researchers in order to tackle some of environmental problems. So we started in December 23 with the onboarding workshop, introducing the stakeholders to the CitiObs projects. Then was a meeting for understanding their opportunities, their challenges when they are doing citizen science and environmental monitoring. And from there, we define together as the ambition related to improve the environmental monitoring networks that they have, the low-cost sensor networks, based on this collaboration of the UC researchers with local authorities in downriver areas and other areas of Dublin, and engaging especially schools, students, schools, and local citizen science. So we have several stakeholders in that first meeting, but at the end we focus in 3 main citizen observatories that are the SCORE Coastal City Living Lab, and then the Twinner and the Change. And at the end we are continue working with the SCORE with more more focus on them. So in March 2024, we have the needs assessment workshops. In these ones, we worked on validating the defined needs that we find together, and to start alignment that with the CitiObs offers and toolkits. And from there, we may have an overview of the needs for these main COs that are related to the data challenge. There is a concern on data quality, validation, and the complexity of the data management when they are working with different sensors, when we're interested in monitoring different parameters, environmental parameters. So the interoperability and also the privacy of the data was a main challenge that arose. Also, others is related to how to communicate the data, how to sharing the data outcomes with the stakeholders and for decision makings, or with the local communities. So how to exchange that knowledge. So we mainly focus on these 2 challenges, and we start the mentoring sessions in October 24, and still it's an ongoing activity with a specific for capacity building and mutual learning and specific toolkits. So can you go to the next one, Joao, please. For example, these are some of the sensors that they are deploying in the living labs, and we can see that are like different types of sensors that with different monitoring parameters, with a focus on air quality, for example, in weather observations, and water quality is a main issue there. Also, the measurement, the water levels, the surface of the waves, and the water level in the area, in the coast, because the idea is to find data to tackle hazards as coastal flooding, sea level rise, and so on. So the diversity of sensors came very handy in order to start
I think we lost Jose. Is everyone present? Okay.
Seems like.
Yes, I think his connection is spiking, but he's back.
Sorry, I think, yeah.
Yeah, we lost you
so
for a minute. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, we were I was saying that related to the diversity of sensors that we have. The main focus on air quality, weather observation, water quality, and water levels in the coastal area. Because one of the main issues is the hazard of the coastal flooding. And if you go into the next slide, please. So we connect these main data challenges into working in improving the accessibility of the data, the interoperability of this diversity of parameters monitored by the CCLLs, by the living labs. And we are focusing mainly now on how to integrate the score sensors data into the standards that the CitiObs is using. And also based on that, one of the next steps is to work on data quality, on data validation, the analysis ready data from the CitiObs data services, for example. And finally, another work that we want to connect when we have this data coming from the different sensors and the different how to say, the validated data from the data services. We want to focus on the analytical tools to start finding ways to exchange that data with others in the community and with the local authorities, and have a complete picture of from the integration of the sensors and the network, some of data that is validated and is ready to work, analyze them, and start making some insights for the decisions and supporting decisions in the local authorities. That's it for my part, and nice to meet you all.
Thank you so much, Jose. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, let's move forward now to Christensen's contact point.
Hi, my name is Karin Ekman, and I am the contact point of the Kristiansand case, or the Fiskåtongen case. I work at NILU, the Climate and Environmental Research Center in Norway, and we are happy to work with the neighbors of Fiskåtongen, or the industry. So this case is about living close to an industry. It's a carbon paste plant, and there are emissions of SO2 and smell, and also diffuse emissions, as well as dust emissions from docking and production landfills. So the next slide, please. In this case, we are working with concerned and engaged neighbors of this industry, and we are also working with the municipality in this. And since they are responsible for the air quality in the city. And the main focus for the neighbors is to map all the emissions and to find the source for it. And the goals and ambitions are to reduce the emissions, to ensure better routines, and have a place to report observations. And they also want dialogues with the polluters and make sure that the municipality and politicians have facts and data for decision making about the living in the area. Next slide, please. Nilu has been working with this case or these neighbors for about 5 years now, and during CitiObs, we had a series of meetings with them and also with the municipality to get a clear picture of the situation, to understand what they work with and their needs and their challenges that they perceive. And we do this to be able to understand how we can support them. So the next slide, please. So after these meetings, the municipality and the neighbors, define their most needs as they want to have a better dialogue with the industry, and they also want the responsibilities regarding the emissions from the industry to be better defined. And they were concerned about knowledge about the situation. They want to consolidate all the knowledge about the emissions and what they are about, because the neighbors are quite concerned about the emissions that occur abruptly. And they also want a technical platform to document incidents. And CitiObs is able to help the neighbors and the municipality with improving communication and dialogue with stakeholders, to increase collaboration and engagement across stakeholders. And we are also able to help them with monitoring and data validation through mounting sensors for monitoring SO2 and particulate matter. We also have introduced a smell diary, and we can help them work on the acceptance of citizen-generated data. And there also might be an alert system, but we don't know about that yet. So we are able to help them with both social and technical issues. So that was it for us. We're looking forward to discuss further with you later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karin. That was great. Okay, so now our last frontrunner case contact point for Rotterdam, please.
Yes, thank you,
Hello,
Joe.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, hi,
You
Peter.
take it over, Eline?
Yes, I prepared
You
a
take over?
presentation.
Excellent. Okay, I'll shut up. Thank you. It's okay, good.
I'm sorry. Okay, so you just heard Peter, and he is also part of this Citizen Observatory, actually also leading parts of it. But my name is Eline, and I'm part of the CitiObs consortium. I'm working at the RIVM, which is the National Institute for Public Health and the Environment in the Netherlands. And I wanted to share with you the story of the Luchtclub Rotterdam. And I wrote down project or community, and I will get back to that at the end. So actually, we are working with CitiObs. We were planning to work with the Luchtclub Rotterdam as a citizen observatory. This is a project which was initiated by the municipality, who wanted to measure air quality together with citizens. Rotterdam is a large city in the Netherlands, and as you see, it's next to the sea, and there's also a huge harbor. And also the local environmental protection agency is very active. You already heard Peter, he's from this EPA. And this project ran from 2021 till 2023, which is important to know because right now it's 2024. But during this time, about 600 sensors were handed out to citizens, but also NO2 was measured, and some events were hosted and organized for the citizens, some community events. But this was also COVID times, so this was a bit limited, of course. Next slide. And to illustrate the effects of that, this project, is here you can see official measurement stations, and on the right side you can see citizen sensors. And as you already see, there are much more citizen sensors than official measurement sites. So there's a lot of data, and also both the DCMR, but also my institute RVM has a lot of interest in this data because we can do a lot of research with it. Next slide. However, this was a project, so a project also has an end date, and last year the project ended. However, a project with citizen science also has a community, and the community doesn't end when a project ends. So there were a few citizens that were willing to stay active and continue measuring, and also so more people that wanted to keep measuring and stay informed. So the project ended, but the community did not. And also the municipality and some other stakeholders, such as the EPA, were also supportive of this and organized some meetings to support this community. So for CitiObs, this was also a bit challenging because we really wanted to work with this citizen observatory and support them, but they also had their completely own process from being a project to also being a strong community. So our needs assessment was also at the end of the project, of their own project. So we used it as a reflection on this Citizen Observatory project. And in the year afterwards, when there were community meetings, we were also there and tried to support it as much as possible, also by using some of the toolkit tools that were in our project. And I'm also really happy that, so we have this city with a citizen observatory in the city, but there's also a regional citizen observatory where also Rotterdam can become part of. And I'm also really happy that this regional initiative is also now an alliance case, so we can also continue our work together and even broadening it to the full region. So project or community, I wanted to stress with this presentation of the Citizen Observatory that a Citizen Observatory is not just a project, but there's also a whole community. And yeah, it will also sustain after a project, and it's also important to be supportive of that. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much. Okay, so thank to all of the frontrunner contact points for presenting and sticking to the time. Believe me, they could speak for hours for all the work that they're doing on the different CEOs. But it was just a snapshot. Just I imagine all of you are now very curious. You probably identified common challenges, maybe opportunities, and again, if a specific frontrunner case is not connected to your cluster, don't worry, we can all network together. You can contact the frontrunner cases and you hear much more about it. Let me just remind you of something that was presented. So last onboarding meeting, you got to know the toolkit leaders, so the colleagues from CitiObs that are working from different organizations in Europe on developing these toolkits that CitiObs wants to work to help your work in your own projects. So let me just quickly go through them again. As you know, CitiObs, our main mission is to enhance citizen observatories. So trying to provide value, things that can help enhancing your observatories. So and it's a two-way street. So when when we're discussing together how to solve your problems, your main challenges, how our toolkits can help you, we're also refining our toolkits with your experience. So your inputs on this whole experience is central to this project. That's why we're going to get, let's say, to the final stage of our toolkits that hopefully can help many other CEOs across Europe, okay, and outside Europe. So quickly through this is just a reminder, we have been working on toolkits related to citizen participation dynamics. We're talking about building trust and cooperation, navigating complex decisions, and much more. You remember this from the presentations in our last meeting. We have the citizen-led action toolkits about generating enthusiasm, engaging with creatives, expanding outreach, etc. We have the Leave No One Behind toolkits, engaging a broader range of participants, connecting with specific groups, creating an inclusive environment. So all of this and much more coming from this toolkit as well. We have the environmental monitoring toolkit, planning for monitoring, choosing the right types of sensors, maintaining data quality, etc. You'll learn more about this today. And we have other technical components, technical tools that we're also working inside CitiObs that we want to discuss with you how they can help your CEO. So we talk about interoperable architecture, data enhancement, and visualization. So today we're going to have some focus presentations specifically on some technical components from our work. And I just wanted to say that we're also very happy to say that you have access, and after this meeting, we'll be sending the links. You have access to our toolkits. So you can use some platforms that we have developed where hopefully it's easier for you to navigate these toolkits in a more engaging way, understanding how they can be relevant for your work, okay? So we'll be sending all of this so you can see for yourselves some of these toolkits that we'll be working on together, okay? So let me just give the floor now to our colleagues that are working in these technical tools, and we can start with the presentations.
Maybe if you go to the next one. So the first one is Oscar. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Oscar. I work together with Milena and Jess in the IAC at FAPLA Barcelona. And I'm going to talk about the devices and the data infrastructure that we provide as part of CitiObs. This is, next slide, please. This is based on the Smart Citizen Kit, which is an open source solution for environmental monitoring. And we will be providing some hardware to you, but not only that, also the freely accessible data platform that you can use to collect data and send it over there, that then will be forwarded over to other CitiObs data platforms, as I will explain now. Next. So as I was saying, the CitiObs sensors are based on the Smart Citizen Kit. You have an image. If you go through the animations, that will dynamically pop them up. So it's a set of electronics. You have an image there. So we have a small data logger, particulate matter sensors, and other low-cost sensors for measuring mostly air quality and environmental parameters related to air. And this is the basic configuration that we provide, which includes air temperature, humidity, noise levels, light, barometric pressure, particulate matter, and newly added sensors like UV index. And yeah, we are providing this as part of CitiObs. And if you want to have more information, if you just click next, there will be another little pop-up. You can find more information in the documentation. We will see that there potentially can be some small adaptations to this, but we will go through that in a second. Next slide. So the devices can be provided as a kit, so you can get and have like a, I don't know, like a nice do-it-yourself experience, if you like. We can provide the components, and if you like to work on the devices and put them together, you can do so, or you can even just get the electronics, and in case you want to 3D print and the boxes and enclosures, That is also possible, as all the designs are fully open and you can download them from the internet. And if you have a 3D printer, you can do that yourself. On the contrary, if you want, we can also do the, provide them as a fully assembled unit. So if you click next. So we can also provide them as a full box that is already put together with the necessary sensors, and that you don't really have to worry about assembling things, and you can just start measuring right away. But both options are available in case that you really like to start working on putting together the devices and get to know a little bit more how they work, or even customize them yourself. Next. So the data will go to the Smart Citizen platform first, but then we will store it there, of course, but then it will be forwarded to CitiObs data platforms where there will be additional checks. So our platform in Smart Citizen just provides a basic storage and traceability, but then it will be forwarded to other CitiObs data services where it will be quality controlled, and it will flow to different data services that are part of CitiObs that will Nuria will explain later on, and that also you will be able to access them as part of the project. Just for information, there's some also links in case you want to check the Smart Citizen platform. That's the main instance, and you can see the map with all the kits worldwide, and also the API, which is also fully available as open data, but it's not the main API that we provide as part of CitiObs. You will see later on what are the main ways to access the data that we are creating as part of the project. And finally, so how to get the devices? No, this is probably the most interesting slide. So you will be shortly contacted with a form that we will use to understand what you need. Then this request will be assessed based on what you need, of course, but the timing of your request and available budget. So of course we don't have unlimited money for devices, and we have to manage all those three variables, and then we will send the devices as we can prepare them. And this is important. We are a very small team, and we basically have a couple of people working on the project together with me, and we cannot really deliver thousands of devices in Europe. We are not a factory. So we really ask also for your patience, and as we can provide the devices, that will of course do it with high priority, but of course we cannot rush things. So a small calendar here just for the reference. If you click next, by the end of the month we will send you the form. We will be expecting replies by next month, and then we will hope that we can deliver devices by May or June. And I see in the chat a very short comment. That I also noticed the issue with the PM sensor. Thank you. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, Lucian, but I just noticed the typo as well, and the sensor name was wrapped. That's all on my side. Hopefully this was useful, and we will send you the form shortly in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Maybe we can take the question from Emiliano if it's a quick one right now.
Yeah, yes, it's a quick question. During the onboarding session, we have spoken a bit of data from satellite images, and we have said that this would have been discussed later on. Do you have some information about this?
Question, and maybe some of this is even answered during the next presentations, as we have like a full overview of the technical things, and then we will have time for Q&As. Thank you. But please, feel free to write your questions already in the chat, and so then we take them on.
Thank you, Emiliano. That was the perfect question so we can move the next presentations, and hopefully it will be answered. So now Let's start with tools for communities. So here I'll call Jose for the presentation.
Thank you, Joao. Okay, the next one, please. Yeah, I'm going to introduce very quickly the local communities that are the main objectives for the analysis. So it's a set of analytical tools designed to
Connection from Jose is not very good.
Yes, let's give it a minute to see if he comes back again. Jose, we lost you for a minute when you started presenting this slide. Maybe the connection is a bit better now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, yeah, the aim of these tools is for local communities to explore, to visualize, to analyze the sensor data, to explore the different parameters that are coming from the sensors, to identify trends, to gain a relationship among the data. And the idea is to have tools that are simple, the interface are very intuitive for non-experts to perform or ready to use analysis and to build and develop use cases, data use cases for the local decision makings and for the communities accessing the data from the different sensors. What type of tools, if you can go to the next one, please. The types of tools we are working with are first for local processing, use Python scripts based on the Python language. Also, the same Python's scripts are going to be transformed into notebooks you can run on the web-based so you can interact with the different step-by-step results that this notebooks has, and to see the to start understanding, and also these kind of recipes you can modify by editing these cells. So for you can have we will have an inventory of, or a set of scripts to download into local machines, but also this should be available very soon in the web. Two more tools are based on visual coding. One that is already known, that is the Orange software. Later we will have more image about that. And the other one is another web-based for data accessing and design workflows that Joanne, another partner here, is developing in the consortium. And all of these tools are going to have a connector into this standardized open standard that is called the Sensor API, that later Nuria will introduce more about it. So these tools have this connector for gathering the data that also coming from validated data from the CitiObs data services. The next one, please. For example, this is the visual coding for Orange. It's a drag and drop interface. So based on different nodes, the community will access the data, query the data of a specific sensor, and then start making other kind of analysis by connecting points and different nodes for this analysis. Same thing with the Tapiz, that is another version, another software that will be based. This Orange one needs to be downloaded. It's a desktop software. The next one, please, Joan. Yeah, if you can go, we are thinking and we want to build together with you some use cases. Some of the example, if you can go ahead with all the list, Joan, if you click, is for example tracking the long-term trends and statistics, comparing different sensors across different locations, or identify most polluted areas that will be safe to walk around. For example, also the air quality index based on a on your specific sensor after selecting your sensor and having these health related issues connected to the quality that you have around. And these data use cases will be transferred into these different scripts. And the idea is to work together with the license cases to build a specific needs that we will have. If you go to the next one, please, is working together from the specific needs that the community have, and finding ways to have this easy to use way to run scripts and also to visual programming the different scripts. And finally, in the next slide, already existing several tools that we can integrate it into the different mutual learning process that we have, and for sure the different alliances will know another existing tools and how these tools can be integrated into the data coming from the COs and the CitiObs will be another task to work together. For example, the Smart Citizen dashboards is already in place, and there's a lot of very nice tools around that. So I think that's the last one, and thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Jose. It was very insightful. Thank you so much. So yeah, don't worry, we'll have Q&A afterwards. So if you have questions, you can put in the chat. So just hold it for a second, and I'll give the floor to Nuria.
Thank you. So I'm Nuria. I'm the project coordinator of CitiObs, but now I will also explain a little bit what's our data flow, and in order to be also very transparent, how are we using the data that you are already collecting. So this is like a very, very basic. Please don't get scared. I will just go a little bit through the data flow that we are having. So our aim now is, because like a lot of data is collecting in the Citizen Observatories, but most of this data is work as in silos. So you are collecting your data, and this data is serve your purposes, but this data can also enhance others. And when we collect, all these, if we think about Citizen Observatories, about drops of water, right? Like when we are all together, we can build a big ocean, and get more of the urban challenges in Europe listened, right? Like that, if we just work alone and we feel alone in our own cave. So we do have the citizen observations that you are collecting on your own, on your Citizen Observatory, and those maybe already go to your own data platform. But maybe you still don't have a data platform, or you don't know, or you're getting the sensors now, your first sensors from Smart Citizens, that what the CitiObs is providing. And then they will go to this CitiObs data platform. There's also a way of connecting your data platform to our data platform, right? Like we want to be here, like give you as much freedom. There is not only one direction. But what is very important here is that we want to validate the data. And what does it mean, validate the data? We want to have data that we can assess their quality, so that we have data of known quality, so that they can be uptaken not only by you that are generating the data, but maybe also easily uptaken by policymakers, by researchers, or by maybe other people that you have not even met yet. So here we are developing what we call VAL-AIR, and this RAD stands for Analysis Ready Data. And this is data that we evaluate their quality. And the good thing here is that you don't need to do anything besides having the sensor located, because these algorithms work without having to collocate the sensors in your references. The sensors that are already outside, we can't evaluate by proximity to other sensors or proximity to reference stations to understand their quality. All this data that has already been checked, it can be also, this will be packed as an ERF package, and you can install it and run it yourself, or we can run it for you. All this will go what we call like virtual air. And then from the virtual air, we are not storing data again. We are just like using APIs to get your data and then build this kind of virtual data hub with all the stored data. That then we will again, make sure, run again this Val Air, make sure that the data has all been of no quality. And then with that, we are able already with data of known quality, start building decision-ready information, this stuff for DRI, and then start making these maps. And there I will go later. This is what we are using, not only the data from the sensors, but are already other existing data. And this can also be then go through our visualization platform that can then be taken by the other users, yourself, or other stakeholders. But also you can see they have these tools for communities, right? So one can go through all this process of creating maps and decision-ready information that CitiObs is generating, but also you can use the tools for communities that Jose has already been explaining, that the ones that CitiObs or the ones that you are already using, and then go to this also present the data in the stakeholders. So this is a little bit, and I will go a little bit now with each of these steps and explain what they do. But what I want you to bring in mind, because what we aim to do with CitiObs is taking all these citizen observatories, all these water drops, and make a big ocean so that we can generate some waves into the European scene, so that we aim to solve more of the urban challenges together. So next slide, please. So the analysis-ready data, and here I have two pictures that were generated by my colleague Amir. So what you have on the left is the official air quality stations. Those are the ones that are run by the authorities. And we are lucky in Europe to have many of those, but we are also very lucky to have also a lot of initiatives already collecting data. And what we see here in this data is not all the observatories. We have here data that observatories that have used standard APIs, so it's easier to retrieve them. But we know there's much more data, and that is where we want to work with you. So here in the Val Air, what we are doing is, you can go to the next one. What we are doing is to try to get all these sensor data and pass different corrections. The first ones are based on the different algorithms of the spatial correlation, temporal correlation, so that at the very end we have data of known quality, as I mentioned. Next slide, Joe. Sorry, I have and then we flag the data, so no data is deleted, because all the data needs to the quality you need of the data depends of your objective, right? So all the data is just flagged, and then people can access different sets of data. We will be ranging them 1, 2, 3, 4, and we think, for example, number 3 is the one with more quality. But you are also able to use data with less quality, depending on your objectives. Go ahead, Joe. With the data that we already have quality controlled and validated, then we are generating information that is already can be not only data, but information, for example, air quality maps, or it can be also heat maps. And here again, we want to create the use cases with you. So this is just an example of a PM2.5 air quality map over Europe, generated using satellite data, model data from the Copernicus systems, and also reference stations and citizen observations, right? So we want to generate more of those, and for that we want to have this dialogue with you on what are your use cases. Next one. this is virtual air, and this is a generated image. So virtual air, as we said, like it only links observations from their original repositories and brings them together in a virtual web space, so that we can have access to data from in our dreams from all the CEOs in Europe and worldwide, so that then all this data can then be interoperable, can work together, and help us to create this decision-ready information and solving many issues. But we are not storing the data again, so the data is stored in your systems. So again. And then, what we do, we also create a visualization platform, but this is more a showcase of how, when we have data harmonized from the different citizen observatories and the data is interoperable, what will allow us then to access all this data in a single platform. So this visualization platform is just one, and there will be many. So, but the most important from us is this virtual air, where we want to have all the data using harmonized standards. And in our case, this harmonized standard is the OGC, and the STA plus. And you will be learning much more about that through our webinars. Go ahead. Just this is just a little bit. Also, like this visualization platform shall allow to see the data from all the observatories that use an harmonized API, but also like allow you to do simple graphics of the data and very simple operations through the data. Go ahead. Yeah, and that's like how our data flow goes. And now we will be happy to get questions on this.
Thank you so much, Nuria. Yeah, so we're happy to get questions for all of the presentations. I know it's a lot of information, but yeah, we're happy to share all of this with you.